Hey everybody. Say, I just wanted to share with you how to do a simple mail merge. Some of you have received letters and you notice that it has your personalized address in there, and then it says, "Dear," fill in your name, right? It's not just a stock letter that goes to everybody. Well, there's a way to do that. I'm going to be showing how to do it with Microsoft Office Suite. So that would be Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. I won't be getting into Microsoft Access. That's maybe probably a little bit more complicated than most of us really need anyway. Nice program, but we're just going to use Word and Excel. So the first thing you need to do, of course, is to develop your list of people you want to mail to and their mailing information. So if you do that, here I'll show that for you. Okay, so now I have right here a list. Column A is first name, column B is last name, and then you've got the address, city, state, and zip code. Now, one good thing to do here is, now I just right-clicked, I hit insert, first, last, address, city, state, and zip. Now this will come in handy a little bit later, you'll see, when we're creating the merge. But so that's your list of your headers, you might say, on your list. So once you have that list, you want to save that in your computer, give it a name like mailing list to invites or something like that. And then you want to go to your letter. And I've already written a very simple letter. This is very brief, but it just says you're invited to come to whatever. But that's really not what's important now. I'll show how to go through the mail merge. Let me make sure that that's sharing. I'll share the, okay. There we go. Now you should be able to see the letter. All right, so now if I want to put in names and addresses and a greeting, what I usually do is go over to mailings. So one moment while I, okay. So now you should be able to see my mouse. All right, I'll click on mailings here. All right, and what I do is hover the mouse over here, start mail merge, and then I clicked on that and then go all the way to the bottom. It says step-by-step mail merge wizard. That's a thing that walks you through this process, which is very helpful. All right, so I click on that. And then over on the right-hand side, it says, what type of document are you working on? Well, we're working on letters, so we click on that, make sure. But you can do labels, envelopes, other types of things too. And then click next to start working on your document. How do you want to set up your letters? Use the current document. That's probably the easiest way to do it. But you could also use the templates or open up an existing document. But this works okay. And then you say, all right, who do I want to send it to? Click on next. And you use an existing list. Now you should have saved this list, the spreadsheet that we looked at before. And then you can go into where you have it saved. So I click on browse, it'll open up. I'm going to find this list. I just called it sample mailing list. Pretty simple, right? All right, so now when it does that, in Excel, there's various tabs, various sheets that you could use. Easiest probably is to put your main mailing list on sheet number 1, but your sheet, your list could be on sheet number 2, sheet number 3, etc. I'll just put on sheet number 1 and click that. Hit OK. All right. So now it says mail merge recipients. In other words, who am I sending this to? In this column here, you can check or uncheck whoever you want to or do not want to send to. If it's checked, you send to them. If it's not checked, then you don't send to them. So where that comes in handy is if you have a list on Excel and there's certain ones of them that you just have a phone number for, an email address, and you don't have a mailing address. Well, those ones you don't want to send to. You don't want to make a letter because you want to be mailing it to them anyway, unless you're going to personally deliver it to their house, I suppose. But that's a special case. So all of these are checked, and then click on OK. And then it says next, write your letter. But just note right here, it says sheet 1 with a $sign in sample mailing list. That's the name of the document where you got the mailing list. So that's connected to this letter so that you can merge all those mailing addresses into the letter. So now you click on write your letter. Excuse me, one thing I forgot, edit recipient list. I believe this is, nope, excuse me. All right, I'll go to the next. All right, so now you're up here, and usually in a letter, people will like to put the address of the person they're sending it to and then the greeting. I suppose you don't have to, but a more formal letter or an invite and something more personalized would have that, kind of a business letter style. So we'll put in the address block. You click on address block. Now, right in here, it gives you, how do you want this person to be addressed? Well, I just put how it was already, Joshua Randolph Sr. Jr. So for example. So you'll see if I click on over here, see the next address. How does it look? Jane Row, 456 Nora Road, Orem, Utah. Rand Paul, 789 Freedom Boulevard, Rock Springs, Wyoming. Okay. Now, one thing you might have to do from time to time is match fields. It might come up here where you only see the person's name and there's no city or there's no address, the street address, or there's something's missing, right? Or maybe you have too many things there. You've got their phone number on there too if you had that in one of the columns in the spreadsheet. So you don't want that first. So you can click on match fields. Now, let me go back to the spreadsheet and show you why this is important. Since I labeled them, Word automatically matched up the fields how they were supposed to be. But if you don't, then it'll have something like, instead of first, last, it'll say F1, F2. And then you're kind of guessing, whoa, what is that? Is that the title? Is that the company name? Or what is that? So it becomes more complicated. But let me go back to the spreadsheet just to show you. This is what I was talking about. First, last, address, city, state, zip. If you could do that, that will be very helpful, so you won't have to worry about that. So I'll go back to the letter. All right. Now these are already matched up. First name, first. Last name, last. Address, one address. City, city, state, state, postal code, zip. Pretty simple, right? And you hit OK. And then you hit OK here. So now it says address block between these two kind of cursive style brackets. So that's good. Now you want to go down, have a space, you I hit enter there. And you probably want to put in some sort of greeting line. So, dear Rand Paul, that sounds a little stilted, a little awkward to say that. To whom it were concerned, no. Let's have it be, what I usually like to do is just their first name, but instead of being Josh or Tim, it'd be Joshua or Timothy. So their full name, not some diminutive form of their name, but their name, and don't have to put their last name. All right. Now, if it's, I guess, husband and wife in the first name field on the spreadsheet, I might put Joshua and Carol or something like that, and then their last name if they share the same last name. All right. And then I usually put a comma, but you could put a colon, which is supposedly more formal. But so now it says Dear Rand instead of Dear Rand Paul. It says Dear Jane and Dear John. All right, now you notice there is a space between the N and the comma there. We can fix that when we go back to edit things, but let's take a look. We hit OK. And now it has a greeting line. So now you can go here and click on preview your letters. I see a little problem there. There's a spacing issue. So what we need to do is go here and you click on home and go down to remove space after paragraph. Okay? But there's also needs to be a space between the address block and where it says Dear John. Okay? And then you also need that comma right after. Okay? When you preview it, there's also this option, exclude this recipient. If you look at it again, you say, nah, I don't want to send to him. He's just trouble. I don't want him coming to my event or whatever. That's fine too. Then you say, click next, complete the merge. All right. Now, what I would recommend that you do is click on edit individual letters after you do that. So here's edit individual letters, all, to edit all of them. And just look through and see if there's any issues. Like right here on this one, you need to get rid of that space, right? So the other ones look like they're pretty good. The address block and the greeting line. And then the last thing, after you've got that, you got it just the way you want it, and you've got all the letters with everything merged with the address block and the greeting line. You'll say, you know, I'd like to print that. Probably the best format to use, I'll click on File here and Save As. And you want to name it something, of course. Let's say it's Final Invite Letter July. All right. And then click on the down arrow here, go down to PDF. And that is a way that it really can only be viewed through, for example, Adobe Acrobat Reader. And it's real nice for printing. So nobody's going to change what's worded there. And you save it. Usually it'll automatically launch a PDF viewer. Mine is Foxnet Reader, but you can open it up with Adobe Reader. Sometimes you get different software that likes one PDF reader. software over another. But you see that we've got all 3 letters, or however many letters you want. It has the address block and the greeting line, and they're individualized, and it works really well. So that's it. I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And my name's Eldon, coordinator with the John Birch Society. Hope you stay in touch. All right. Thanks, guys. And I think we'll stop the recording.